Greetings, welcome to my channel. And if it's your first time, thank you for joining me on this journey. This will be a brief little series here, and I just want to kind of touch on, I was working on a workshop for suicide awareness and prevention, and as I was doing some research, I tripped over a few things that I thought was interesting. And one of the big things is it being a mental health thing. So I know a lot of the critics of personal governance may think, well, what about the people that's severely mentally ill or severely, experience these severe depressive episodes? Well, in the spirit of personal governance is one of the things that we want to keep in mind is we want to have a universal scope, because as I was doing my research, I realized that what is a likely candidate for suicide? What is a typical candidate? What do they look like? Is it a woman? Is it a teen? Is it a gay? Is it, well, depending on who you're talking to, you're going to get different answers. I was reading this book called Suicide Opposing Viewpoints, and it had some interesting statistics in there. And one of them pointed out that women with breast implants were 3 times as likely to commit suicide. And it also said that people that are married and that have children are less likely to commit suicide or attempt suicide. So I think one of the things that we want to be mindful is to have a universal scope. What I mean by that is don't put nobody above that, because you never know what people are going through. A lot of us, we're good pretenders. We act like everything is great, like everything is fine, and that's why suicide confounds so many people. Even clinical therapists with terminal degrees and 10, 20 years of experience, one of their biggest fears is having, a mental health client, complete suicide. So, a couple of tips I want you to walk away with is empower yourself. Read about this, build a web of connectivity, with your family, anybody that you love, your friends, your kids, your parents. You want to build that bond, that web of connectivity. And if you notice odd behavior, something just ain't right, talk to them and get comfortable with being uncomfortable about having those conversations. Ask them, hey, do you want to hurt yourself? Or, because a lot of the people who have completed suicide, from the research that I was looking into, one of the things that most of them experienced was alienation, isolation, and they feel like they didn't have nobody they could talk to. So that's why that web of connectivity is important. Reaching out to people early and often, talking to people, staying connected with them, because a lot of times people close themselves off. They're up in the attic, they're up in the room, they're in the bathroom. Next thing you know, they done cut their wrist, they done overdose. So this is something we want to be aware of, because personal governance is not just about being the best version of yourself, but it's also being the best version of yourself so that you can support yourself and your loved ones. So we don't ever want to be so overly consumed with ourselves that we are overlooking those who mean the most to us. We want to be the best version of ourselves so that we can give more to our kids, so that we can give more to our family and our friends. So because I got some workshops coming up, and this is not a shameless plug. I'll let you know when I do that. I'm not above a shameless plug, but this is just about that suicide awareness, mental health awareness. It's a stigma of getting help. And, a lot of times, well, it's weak. Oh, man, I ain't talking to that, this and this. But look, if you need help, that's a strength, to know that you need help, to be willing to get help, to don't just tough it out. Don't just sit. And they say, like a lot of men, and I'm guilty of it, we don't go to doctors. We don't do the things that we need to do. But you know what? Man or not, you're a human being. And, we social creatures, and we all need help. So yeah, I'm all about looking inside for those inner resources. I'm all about developing determination and tapping into your tenacity, tapping into your creativity, all about that. But in the same token, if you are experiencing long periods of depressive episodes, if you're experiencing this darkness and you just feel like helplessness, hopelessness, that was another key piece that I seen that was common. People felt like no matter what they do, they can't dig themselves out this hole. So even though we know, you may feel terrible today and feel great tomorrow, we know that, but when people going through that cycle of suicide, they just feel like this feeling is overwhelming. They got this emotional urgency to go out and make something happen right now. So if you're with somebody like that, somebody that you think that's going to hurt themselves, stay with them. Physically stay there with them. Call 911, call a therapist. Don't let that person be by themselves. So I want you to walk away with a few things. One, universal scope. Just, hey, don't take it for granted. If you ain't heard from your family and friends in a few days, reach out. Hey, what's going on? Ask them how they doing. Pop through. And if you notice something odd in terms of behavior, talk to them. Love them enough to put them on the spot. Hey, do you feel like hurting yourself? What's going on? Try to get in their head. Try to get them to talk. And if you can, get them to talk about specifically what they're going through. Are they going through a sense of hopelessness? A sense of feeling powerless over their own lives? Are they going through this depressive episodes or whatever? Do they have, whatever? Maybe it's a relation thing. Maybe they broke up. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Whatever it is, try to get them to talk. Try to dig in and help them out. And that third piece, if they're actually in that, they actually say, yeah, I'm done. I want to, taste the deadly end of a shotgun or something. At that point, stay with them. Physically stay with them until you can hand them off to a professional, a mental health professional or a paraprofessional. The personal governance is not about this rugged individualism to where you only rely on you. It's just that you learn to tap into that reservoir within yourself first. You exhaust all your own internal reserves first. Because so many times people say, well, I can't do this. I don't have this. And we focus on all the can'ts. I can't do this. I can't raise enough money. I can't get enough support. So the goal is to focus on what you can do. You can learn. And it's just like this situation here with suicide awareness. You can read about suicide awareness. You can go to websites, read about suicide prevention. You can talk to your loved ones. You can create that web of connectivity. Talk to people, reach out. I know we get busy with working. We get busy with our relationships. But the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to be so busy that we look back and then now we're feeling shame and guilt. Man, I should have called more. I should have checked, more frequently. So this is just an opportunity for you, in the spirit of personal governance, to reach out to your loved ones. Pick up the phone, send out a text, do whatever you got to do to get that web of connectivity going. And like I said, I was going to keep it short this week. And please drop some comments. Let me know if it's certain topics that you want to tackle. By all means, leave the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you know somebody that can benefit from this, definitely share. All right, that's my time for the day. In the meantime, persist, believe, and achieve.